This is Cheryl Stepp with the Creating Resilience video series. We are on number 23, and today we're going to continue talking about executive functions. Using executive functions can really help us to create goals, and there has been research showing that these goals can lead to helping us feel more hopeful in life. We can use this executive functions to really help us organize and plan and prioritize. So research tells us that there's really a few main pieces of goal setting. We need to be able to set the goals and think about what they are and how much they mean to us. Then we need to be able to find our pathways. How are we going to achieve that goal? And are there any barriers to us achieving those goals? And then do we have the willpower and the motivation to achieve those goals? There's a researcher named Chan Hellman who has a lot of work out on the internet. This is one of his sample pages from one of his workshops, and it's out on the internet. If you put in Chan Hellman Hope, you will find it. And it's really walking you through the different steps. So describing a goal in as much detail as possible. How much do you want to achieve that goal? What's maybe motivating? Imagine you've achieved it. How will you celebrate it? And then looking at all the different pathways. And this is where it's helpful to have other people to maybe help you decide how are different ways to achieve that goal and what might be some barriers, some things that make it hard to achieve that goal. And then it's also just taking time, figuring out how will you overcome those barriers, and then the different smaller goals you have to reach to get to the higher goal. All these sort of goal setting steps are really very helpful. And if you can find his work out on the internet, you'll be able to find one of these sheets like this and maybe work through some goals for yourself. But it's very important at some times in our life to really pause and think about what goals we do want to achieve and the steps we have to take to achieve them. But that's not all there is to setting up goals, because we have to have the willpower or the motivation, which people that are doing research on goal setting call that agency. And that agency works with many different ideas. It's kind of like these cogs working together, where if one's out of gear, the other ones don't move very well. So to find good motivation and starting your task, it starts with the idea of what is motivating you. Is it more money? Is it better relationships? Is it feeling better inside your own body? So what's motivating you to make a change? The second next cog, which is pretty big, are tools. Do you know what to do? Do you physically have the items you need to achieve the goal? So what's motivating you, and do you have the items and the knowledge to do it? The next cog is routines. Sometimes to meet a goal, we have to shift and change our routines throughout the day. I've been urging you to shift your routines through this entire video series, to start saying, I feel when you have an emotion, to build in regulation throughout your day, to be able to recognize when other people are beginning to go into their backseat or when you are. Those are all changes in our routine to help us achieve a goal. The orange cog is, do you have a good team? Do you have some support people that will help you along the way? That's so vitally important. And then what is your self-talk? We've talked about this as well. Are you thinking, I'll never reach this goal, this is stupid, or I don't even want to start it because I know I'm not going to make it? Well, that self-talk is not going to help you get the goal started or accomplished. So you really have to pay attention to your self-talk and make sure it's pushing you towards your goal and what you want to achieve. And when all of these things are in place and they're working really well and they're all turning smoothly, that's when you will achieve your goal. But if you're working towards a goal and it's just not getting there, it's really helpful to come back to this graphic and look at, am I missing something here? Have I not shifted a routine? Am I having negative self-talk? Am I missing some tools that I need? Because if you're not reaching your goal, then one of these pieces is probably not in alignment the way that it should be. It's just a really helpful tool to help you if you want to set and achieve goals. The other piece that we've spoken about before really are problem solving steps because as you begin to set goals, you might run into barriers and problems. And so you need to be able to notice that there's a problem. Hey, I'm not achieving my goal because of da 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 da, right? And then you might have to use some calming steps. If you are very upset about it, you might need to stop and notice how you're feeling. Bring yourself back to the front seat through some regulation and then just think about all sorts of ideas and solutions. Maybe that's when you pull your support people in, your team of people, to help you think about different ways to achieve that goal. Choose a solution and try it. And if it solved the problem, great. If it did not, then you go back to the drawing board and try again. We talked about problem solving steps with other people, but as you're trying to achieve a goal, you might also come across problems that you need to solve. Removing barriers and developing more executive functions is really very important, especially if you've experienced or the people you're working with have experienced a lot of trauma or adversity when they're younger. The Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University has so many resources that I actually put their big website link in this video so you could look at it and get to that website. They have guides on there to help adults and children of all ages build up working memory, flexible attention, and inhibitory control. If you are wanting to work on some of those executive functions or you want to help your children or your friends' children with it, this is a great resource to go to and find all sorts of great ideas to help build up those three executive functions. Our reflection question today is what makes it easier or difficult to make and complete goals in your life in the past? Think about that slide with the different cogs on it. What is it that made it easy or difficult to achieve goals? And then the action step is to take time to actually walk through some of the goal setting steps and find a goal that you want to work on and find all the steps it's going to take to achieve that goal. What are your pathways? What are your barriers? And go for it. Go for that goal. Thanks so much for being part of this video. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you next time.